Whispers in the rain, the coffee shop smelled of burnt espresso and wet wool, the kind of place where confessions slipped out too easily. Juliet Carter traced the rim of her mug, her pulse uneven. Outside, Seattle's rain blurred the streetlights into golden smears. She'd rehearsed this moment for weeks, yet now that it loomed, her courage frayed at the edges. The door chimed. Dante Valentine strode in, shaking water from his coat. At 32, he carried himself like a man who'd carved his name into the world's sharp suit, sharper smile. But when his eyes found hers, the polished edge softened. "Sorry," he said, sliding into the booth. "Meeting ran late." His knee brushed hers beneath the table, an old habit that sent a shiver up her spine. Juliet swallowed. "I need to ask you something." Dante stilled, recognizing the tremor in her voice. He reached across the table, his thumb grazing her knuckles. "Whatever it is, we're okay." 20 years of friendship lived in that touch. They'd been kids when they met her with skinned knees, him with a too-big backpack. Here they were, adults with scars hidden beneath tailored clothes. "I want my first time to be with someone who won't lie to me afterward," she whispered. "Someone like you." The cafe noise faded. Dante's fingers tightened around hers. "Juliet." Name was a rough caress. "Why now?" "'Cause I'm tired of pretending." She lifted her gaze, defiant. "And I trust you." He exhaled sharply, his jaw clenched. Then without a word, he tossed cash on the table and pulled her outside. Rain slicked their skin as he hailed a cab, his grip unyielding. His lake house was all glass and shadow, the storm murmuring against the windows. Juliet hovered near the fireplace, suddenly unsure. "We don't have to." Dante cupped her face. "Tell me you're certain." His touch burned. She rose onto her toes, her lips grazing his. A question. His answer was a groan, hands sliding into her hair. The kiss deepened, hungry and slow, until the room spun. When he lifted her, her legs wrapped around his waist on instinct. The hallway, the bedroom, the way he laid her down like something precious, it blurred into a fevered dream. Later, with her cheek against his chest, she traced the scar on his collarbone. "This changes things," he murmured into the dark. Juliet closed her eyes. She already knew no going back. The morning sun cut through the blinds, painting stripes across tangled sheets. Juliet woke to the weight of an arm draped over her waist, the steady rhythm of Dante's breath against her neck. For a moment she let herself savor it, the warmth, the quiet, the way his fingers twitched in sleep as if reluctant to let her go. Then reality crashed in. She slipped from the bed, pulling on his discarded shirt. It smelled like hymn cedar and something faintly metallic, like the ink of late-night contracts he'd signed at her kitchen table. The floor was cool under her bare feet as she tiptoed toward the door. "Running already?" His voice rough. With sleep, froze her mid-step. She turned to find Dante propped up on one elbow, the sheet pooling low on his hips. His hair was mussed, his mouth soft in a way that made her stomach flip. "Coffee," she lied. "I need caffeine to function." He studied her, eyes dark and knowing. Liar. The mattress dipped as he stood, crossing the room in 2 strides. He caught her wrist, his thumb pressing against her racing pulse. "Regrets?" "No." The word came too fast. It was perfect. "But we said it wouldn't change anything." "What?" Shadow crossed his face. He released her, raking a hand through his hair. "Maybe I want it too." Her breath hitched. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. He swore under his breath. "Singapore merger. I have to take this." She nodded, relief and disappointment twisting together. The distance started small. A meeting ran late. A text went unanswered. By the 3rd day, Juliet buried herself in work, rewriting a love scene for a client while ignoring the hollow ache. In her chest, her phone lit up with a notification, a gossip column photo of Dante at a charity gala. His arm around Serena Lockwood, the elegant heiress to a banking empire. The caption read, "Tech titan Dante Valentine and Serena Lockwood spark romance." Rumors her stomach dropped. She'd met Serena one stall, polished. The kind of woman who belonged in Dante's world of private jets and high-stakes deals. The kind Juliet would never be. Her phone buzzed. Dante's name flashed on the screen. She silenced it. That evening, her doorbell rang. Dante stood on the threshold. Tie loosened, frustration etched into every line of his body. "You're avoiding me." She crossed her arms. "You seem busy?" His eyes narrowed. "The gala?" "Serena's. Family funds the hospital wing." It was business. "Everything with you is business." The words tasted bitter. Maybe that's why this was a mistake. He stepped inside, forcing her back until her shoulders hit the wall. "Don't," he growled, "use my career as an excuse because you're scared." She glared up at him. "I'm not scared." "Bullshit." His palm flattened against the wall beside her head. "You've been running since that morning? The question is, are you running from me or from what you felt?" His nearness was a live wire. She remembered the way his mouth had traced her skin, the way he'd whispered her name like a prayer. "I need time," she whispered. Dante exhaled sharply, stepping back. "Fine, but don't take too long, Juliet." He turned at the door, his voice softening. "Some things are worth being brave for." The click of the latch echoed in the silence. Juliet slid to the floor, pressing her palms to her eyes. The truth was a knife in her ribs. She loved him. She just pushed him away. 3 weeks, 21 days of silence stretched between them like a frayed rope, each one tightening around Juliet's chest. She threw herself into work, rewriting chapters of other people's love stories, while hers gathered dust. Her phone stayed dark, no calls, no texts. She told herself it was better this way, clean. But nights were different. Nights were filled with the ghost of his touch, memory of his voice, low and rough against her ear. Some things are worth being brave. 4. On the 22nd day, her best friend Mira kicked open her apartment door, arms laden with takeout and a scowl. "Ro, you look like hell," Mira announced, dropping the food on the coffee table. Juliet blinked up from her laptop. "I've been working." "You've been wallowing." Mira shoved a container of fried rice into her hands. "Eat, then tell me why you're avoiding Dante." Juliet stabbed a chopstick into the rice. "He's probably moved on by now." Myra snorted. "Right. Because men famously get over the women they've been in love with for a decade in 3 weeks. Juliet froze. "What? You heard me?" Mira rolled her eyes. "Juliet, please. The man has been obsessed with you since we were in college. Everyone knew it except you." Flicker of hope sparked in her chest, treacherous and bright. She crushed it. "Doesn't matter, I messed up." Mira leaned forward. "Then fix it." The next morning, Juliet's phone buzzed with a news alert. Tech mogul Dante Valentine. Injured in car accident en route to airport. Her world tilted. She was out the door before she could think, hailing a cab with shaking hands. The hospital. Waiting room was a blur of sterile white and hushed voices. A nurse directed her to the surgical wing, where Dante's assistant, Eli, paced outside his room. Eli's shoulders sagged with relief when he saw her. "Thank God. He's been asking for you." Juliet's throat tightened. "How bad is it?" "Broken ribs, punctured lung. They had to operate, but he's stable." Eli hesitated. He was on his way to Singapore. Something about finalizing the merger so he could take a leave. For what? The unspoken question hung between them. When she was finally allowed in, Dante looked smaller, somehow paled against the hospital sheets, an IV taped to the back of his hand. His eyes were closed, lashes casting shadows over the bruises on his cheekbones. Juliet sank into the chair beside him, carefully threading her fingers through his. His skin was warm, alive. "I'm here," she whispered. "I'm sorry I wasn't before." Hours passed. The machines beeped. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the room in twilight. Then his fingers twitched. Juliet leaned forward as his eyelids fluttered open. Disoriented, blinking, then focusing on her face. A slow, drowsy smile curved his lips. "You came." Her vision blurred. "Course I came." He shifted, wincing. "Don't cry, Jules. I'm okay." "You could have died," she choked out. And the last, The thing I did was push you away because I was scared. Dante's grip tightened weakly around hers. Still here, he murmured, still waiting. A nurse bustled in, checking vitals, adjusting IVs. When they were alone again, Dante's voice was clearer, steadier despite the pain. The accident made me realize something. His thumb traced her knuckles. Life's too short for silence. Juliet swallowed hard. Yeah. When I get out of here, he said, holding her gaze. We need to talk, she nodded. No more running. As he drifted back to sleep, his hand still in hers, Juliet finally let herself admit the truth: she loved him, and she was done hiding from it. The scent of antiseptic still clung to Dante's skin, even after they discharged him from the hospital. Juliet hovered in the doorway of his penthouse as he limped inside, one arm braced against the wall for balance. His usually immaculate apartment now bore signs of neglect. A thin layer of dust on the glass coffee table, unopened mail piled by the door. You shouldn't be walking without the crutches, she chided. Setting down the bag of prescriptions the hospital had given them, Dante shot her a wry look over his shoulder. I've survived worse. Not like this. The memory of him pale and bleeding in that hospital bed flashed behind her eyelids. She busied herself with unpacking the medications, lining them up on the kitchen counter like little soldiers. Silence stretched between them, thick with everything left unsaid. The days blurred into a fragile routine. Juliet came every morning. With groceries, cooking meals, Dante would only pick at before retreating to his home office for yet another video call. She told herself it was just temporary, helping a friend recover. But the way his gaze lingered on her when he thought she wasn't looking made her pulse stutter. On the 10th day, she found him on the balcony at sunset, his profile etched in gold. You're supposed to be resting, she said, joining him at the railing. Dante didn't turn. The board wants me in New York next week. The words hit like a physical blow, so soon. Johnson's threatening to pull out of the merger. His jaw tightened. I can't delay any longer. The unspoken question hung between them. What happens to us now? Juliet gripped the railing until her knuckles turned white. That's ... good. Means you're healing well, is it? When she didn't answer, Dante turned to face her fully. The fading light caught the scar above his eyebrow, the one he'd gotten when they were 16. Crashing his bike trying to impress her. Come with me, he said quietly, her breath caught. To New York. Wherever. His hand found hers on the railing. I'm tired of pretending you're not the only thing that matters. The raw honesty in his voice unraveled her. Shh. She opened her mouth. His phone rang. Dante cursed under his breath, glancing at the screen. I have to take this. Juliet nodded, slipping back inside as he answered the call. She busied herself washing dishes, trying to ignore the voices drifting through the glass door. Yes, the penthouse is prepared, Dante said, his tone clipped. I'll be there Monday. Tell Johnson this deal closes on my terms, or not at all. A pause. Then, lower. No, Serena. I don't need your help with the transition. I've got it handled. The glass slipped from Juliet's fingers, shattering in the sink. That night, she dreamt of crashing cars and laughing voices. She woke gasping too, her phone buzzing at 3 a.m. Dante's name flashed across the screen. Her thumb hovered over the answer button, then swiped to voicemail instead. The next morning, she didn't go to his apartment. She told herself it was for the best. The storm hit without warning. Juliet was halfway through packing her suitcase when the lights flickered and died, plunging her apartment into darkness. Outside, rain lashed against the windows as thunder rolled across the Seattle skyline. Phone buzzed a citywide alert about the blackout. Another buzz. Text from Dante. You okay? Her fingers hovered over the screen. She should ignore it. Should stick to her decision. But the memory of his voice come with me made her type. Powers. Out. I'm fine. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then, I'm outside. She opened the door to find Dante leaning against the frame, his coat soaked through. Rain dripped from his hair as he held up a flashlight and a paper bag. Brought supplies. Wine, candles, those terrible gummy bears you like. Liette stared. You drove here in this? Walked, actually? He shrugged, wincing slightly at the movement of his healing ribs. Elevators are down. Took me 20 minutes to climb your stairs. Something cracked in her chest. She stepped aside, candlelight painted. The walls gold as they sat on her living room floor, passing the wine bottle between them. The storm raged outside, but here, in this fragile circle of light, the world felt small, safe. Dante broke the silence first. You've been avoiding me. Juliet traced the rim of her glass. I heard you talking to Serena. His eyebrows shot up. That call. A rough laugh escaped him. She was offering to smooth things over with Johnson. Wanted a favor in return? What kind of favor? Me. His mouth twisted. In her bed, I said no. The wine turned sour on Juliet's tongue. Why? Dante set the bottle down with deliberate care. 'Cause I'm in love with you, Juliet. I've been since you punched Ryan Carter in the 9th grade for making fun of my stutter. The admission hung between them, bright as the lightning splitting. The sky outside, she swallowed. I don't fit in your world. My world. He reached for her hand, turning it palm up. You're my world. The only reason I built any of it was so I'd have something worth giving you. Tears blurred her vision. I'm scared. Me too. His thumb brushed her wrist, right over her fluttering pulse. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you. The candle guttered, plunging them into near darkness. Juliet leaned forward until their foreheads touched. Say it again, she whispered. Dante's breath warmed her lips. I love you. This time, when they kissed, there was no hesitation, no retreat. Just the two of them, the storm, and the quiet certainty of a promise finally kept. Epilogue. 1 year later, the New York apartment smelled like burnt toast and fresh coffee. Dante cursed at the toaster as Juliet laughed from the doorway, her arms full of manuscripts. You're a billionaire, she teased. Buy a new one. He caught her around the waist, nuzzling her neck. But then I wouldn't get to hear you laugh. At me. Outside, snow began to fall soft and silent over the city that had become theirs. On Juliet's desk, the first page of her new novel waited. The coffee shop smelled of cinnamon and rain,